Oh, that's my sermon. I don't need that. Yeah, can I get one too? Thanks. So, I want to welcome you today to what we've called Vision 2026, and a kind of an ongoing effort for us to continue to be transparent about our ministries and what we're doing, and even the costs of it. We were trying to consider ways that we could share information about our budget, and so we came up with this idea we call Vision 2026. What you find in this document is not a line-by-line item budget. And that's not necessarily on purpose, but the hope is that you begin to see how our dollars, when we give, how they go into the ministries of the church. And that's what we're doing today. We're not going to go line by line through a budget either. We want to talk about ministries and the plans that we have for ministry in the coming year, and to give you a sense of how those dollars tie together. We took our motto that we have on our name tags and everything, Love Grows Here, and we kind of divided our ministries into three buckets. One is loving God, one is growing in love, and the third is sharing love. If you grew up in the church, you might say those buckets, the real traditional words for that bucket are worship, discipleship, and outreach and evangelism. That's really what those are. And we took our ministries and kind of divided all the plans up. Really, a budget is a dream, right? It's a dream of what the future will be and what we imagine God wanting us to do and to be in the coming year. You'll notice too, you don't see salaries, you don't see HVAC costs, you don't see all the sexy things, because those are all divided out into ministry. For us to have worship on a Sunday, we have to pay the light bill. For us to have youth on Sunday nights where youth grow in grace, we have to pay our youth director. And so our jobs as staff, for instance, is to ensure and empower the work of ministry in the church and beyond the church. That's why the church has hired us. That's why we exist. And so our salaries, our time, that's all part of this. All this is divided up. So for instance, I took my salary and I said, okay, how much time typically during a week do I spend preparing a sermon? How much time during the week do I spend making hospital calls? How much time, and that varies, how much time on average do I spend teaching Bible studies and preparing for Bible studies? And I took those percentages and I divided my salary up into those varied areas. All with the idea that our dollars that we give and that we pledge and that we do help to fund real ministry in the lives of people. And so that's what we're doing today. And like I said, we're not going line by line in our budget, but this is going to tell a story about who we are and who we are called to be, and in those three buckets. Everybody with me so far? You probably didn't know what you're coming to today, did you? We decided we'd try this and see how it goes, and it might be something we do in the future. We talked originally about doing lunch, and we had just come off the note burning. It's like, let's just get together with coffee on Sunday morning, and then we'll go from there. And I want to say thank you for being here, because I know you all are giving up your Sunday school time and small group time as well. But what we're going to do today is talk about those three buckets: loving God, growing in love, and sharing love, and share some of the plans that we have as a staff in our areas. And rather than saying, hey, we're going to spend $10,000 on the choir, we're going to talk about what the choir is going to do. We're going to talk about a new thing that's happening in our music department, or a dream or a goal that we have in those areas, so you get a sense of how the money that we give funds ministry. So, with that said, and I don't think it'll take super long, we're going to have our staff share about things happening and what they have envisioned for the future. And we hope this grows next year, that it's not just staff, but it's our committees and our laity getting to share, because not only do like our dollars go to fund like programs, our official programs, but like the missions committee and the church and society, they're all part of this. We set aside money for all these groups so that they can do their ministry. So with that said, we're going to talk about loving God. I think it's pretty self-explanatory what loving God is. It is the core of our faith. Here at Conway First, we have vibrant and vital worship that happens in 2 spaces, and we have multiple groups and individuals that are part of that, but our staff are going to share today. So Jason is going to share a little bit about our music ministries and the traditional services, and thank you for being here.
It's on. All right. I'm Jason Soji. I'm the Director of Music and Worship Ministries here at Conway First United Methodist. I'd like to start, keeping things as brief as possible, but I'd like to start with a prayer that I begin all the rehearsals. Oh, okay. That's better. I can hear myself in the room. I like to begin all the rehearsals and events in the music department with this particular prayer for church musicians and artists. I could take up most of your Sunday afternoon and share with you specifically what we do for every day through the year here at Conway at Conway First in terms of music. But this prayer that we begin all of our rehearsals on our Sunday mornings with, all of our ensembles, really sums it up quite well. O God, whom saints and angels delight to worship in heaven, be ever present with your servants who seek through art and music to perfect the praises offered by your people on earth. And grant to them, even now, glimpses of your beauty, and make them worthy at length to behold it unveiled forevermore, through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. So that's not only the start of our rehearsal, but it centers us into what the work is that we do here throughout the week, and especially on Sunday morning. There are 3 important parts to that prayer. The first thing is to perfect the praises offered by your people on earth. So that indicates it's the work that we do. On Sunday mornings, or various special services, most of us really just see the tip of the iceberg. What the end result is of weeks and sometimes months of preparation. So we gather weekly, sometimes more than once a week, to study and dig deep into the music that we offer here for all of our services. So there is definite work that's going on, both technically, musically, and with rhythms, notes, diction, that sort of thing. And then the second part of the prayer that sort of explains what the work is that we're about is to grant glimpses of God's beauty. So that's really the purpose of what we do, is to offer worship in the beauty of holiness. St. Augustine described God as the beautiful, the pulcher. And in art and music, that's one of the chief ways that human beings come close to what that beauty is, that divine beauty. So in worship, we hope to gain a glimpse of God's beauty. And then, ultimately, and this is all of our goal, is to behold that beauty unveiled forevermore. St. Paul talks about the fact that right now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face when we enter into the beatific vision. So in worship, we don't just gather to sing songs or do something sort of physically demonstrable. We hope to envision or catch a glimpse in our worship of the heavenly kingdom, of the throne of God. That is the beatific vision that we know is there, the sacred mystery that we know is there, that we perceive, but we don't see directly, as St. Paul says. But soon, face to face, we'll see it clearly. So in worship, that's what we're about: is to bring everyone closer to sacred mystery through God's beauty. And the physical way we do that is perfecting His praises. And here at Conway First, we have our core music ministries: chancel choir, first service singers, 8:30 and 11, as well as both of our handbell choirs, the Bells of Grace, and the chancel ringers, who ring throughout the year, usually once a month or a couple times a month, throughout the liturgical year. And then something that I find extremely important to carry on this work is education, music education, liturgical education. And we do that in the music department in two ways. With the Aldersgate Music Program, my associate Linda Ball is the director of that, which is music for children of all ages, actually children and young people. And that's in fact an intergenerational music program. We have some parents and grandparents and guardians who also participate with the kids and young people in that. And through that, they learn the basic songs and texts of the church. We have a very rich treasury of song in the Christian tradition, 12 centuries of it. So, which is staggering when we think about that. That's the treasury that we work with every day here. So Linda Ball works with children and young people, and then in the chancel choir we have now for 4 years we've had the program for the choral scholars, which is a program that offers an opportunity to learn, to sing, and to study here as part of the chancel choir, college-age students, and those we have 5 positions that we offer for that, and those are auditioned positions. We advertise it to the colleges, both Hendrix and UCA, and music students chiefly will come to audition and hope for a spot in the chancel choir in one of the sections. And I'm happy to say that over the years has caught on extremely well, and that we have now a waiting list for that program. Every semester I get several emails from students hoping that there's an opening here to come and sing the repertoire that we sing here and worship the way we worship here. So that's quite a witness, I think, for this congregation and for worship and music ministries here. So just to quickly recap, the 3 things that we do is seeking to perfect the praises, to achieve glimpses of God's beauty, as well as hoping that ultimately that will unveil the kingdom of God with us now, always. All right.
Thank you. Obviously, too, as part of our program in our music and worship, is we have our GNC service, and for Zach and our and others in our staff volunteer to be part of it. Zach actually doesn't get paid to do that; he just loves to do it out of the goodness of his heart. But Stuart Holt leads that and organizes it. We have all kinds of needs as far as technology in all of our services. We live stream our services every Sunday, and it goes out to 3 different medias online, so YouTube and Facebook, and some volunteers back there who help run it. I saw some smiles. And your funds make that happen. It's the way we reach people. The front door, most people say, for worship now is online. So if they want to know what your church is like, they often go online first. And so we make that happen. And our GNC Praise Band, of course, they have equipment, and they also are excellent in what they do, and so we're grateful for them. A quick story, Jason had to go, but one of our choral students not too long ago stopped me in the parking lot, and he said, your sermon made me think about who I was and what I'm doing, and I just want to say thank you. This guy doesn't really attend church. He just applied for the program, and now he's starting to think about faith. And you never know, like, the avenues you open up and what it might do for an individual. And so we're grateful that we have that program as well. You'll see on your page, Loving God, we estimate that our spending for our worship is $415,000. That's like HVAC. No, I'm just kidding. The time we spend preparing and sermons, and the time and the music and the cost and the technology and all that. And so we're grateful for that. Our next area we'll move on to is growing in grace. That is the core of our church. And so Miranda's going to introduce this.
Yes, growing in grace. That's what we're all about, right? We are growing towards God's perfection, and we are God's disciples here in the world today. So most of our money, if you look at our pie chart, it's going towards making sure that we have avenues to grow in God's grace, to experience God's love, to study God's word in Bible study, to fellowship with one another through pickleball, and all of these kinds of things that we have going on that we can connect with one another and go forth sharing God's grace with others. So we do spend most of our money. If you want to look at that second page, I think it is, we spend $589,556.29. So that gives you a ballpark for just what it means to open up the doors, to allow people to come here, to grow in their life of faith, and to discern where God is calling them and how to grow in love with God and their neighbors. So up first, I'm going to have Catherine Gatlin come forward to share with this, because this happens from birth to your, however long you are in the life of discipleship. So she'll start us off.
Hello, I'm Catherine Gatlin, Director of Children's Ministries. I just wanted to say, as we look forward in our next year, our focus stays on helping children grow in faith through both our core ministries and special events that bring our church family together. We will, of course, continue our Sunday morning Sunday school and Wednesday evenings, along with favorites like the Easter egg hunt and our Advent event that we have every year. I'm especially excited to tell you about two things that have been here, but we're tweaking in the coming year. First, we're rethinking our children's worship bags. We'd like to see more families using them and hope to extend the ages of those that might use them. So we're hoping to add some like sensory or fidget tools that will make everyone feel more included in worship. And then second, our vacation Bible camp. This year's theme is about Jesus' parable of the sower. We'll be talking about that for 3 days, and that will hopefully plant some seeds of faith that can grow and flourish. Our Children's Council is also looking to extend our outreach with that. So we're hoping to bring more children in to from beyond our walls, from the community in for that event this year, and make it bigger and better than ever. Through these ministries, both the steady and the new, we're continuing to nurture children's faith and help them know they are deeply loved by God and by this church family. So we appreciate your support.
Up next, we have Zach Schrick.
I feel like I'm on The Price is Right. So for those that don't know me, I am Zach Schrick. I'm the Director of Youth Ministries here, which some people don't fully understand. A few years ago, we kind of made a leap and we kind of umbrellaed all youth ministries here. So I'm also here speaking for Christy Limmer, our mid-youth director, who is currently doing her volunteer thing at Refuge for the second weekend because she said yes to me as the CCYM coordinator. And if you don't know what that is one of the things that we really focus on in our youth ministry is the connection of the United Methodist Church through all the things that we do. And we really push that. So we go on these trips. Well, Christy and I both volunteer our time to kind of head up some of these events. So that's where she's at this weekend. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about hers and then also the youth ministry. So mid-youth is 5th through 7th grade, and thank God for Christy Limmer because that is not my grades to teach. I love them very much. Once they become 8th graders, I love them even more. But so one of the things that we really did, and you may have seen, is we had a ministry that started somewhere around 14 years ago with mid-youth because we saw a gap with developmental pieces for our 5th through 7th graders. And as the schools changed, so did we. So we had a building that was ready for it, and we needed a ministry that could kind of support their development. So that's what we do. So on a weekly basis, they gather in this space right here, and then they have a space down in the basement that we're slowly making theirs, which is kind of one of the goals that we do with that within our programming budget. One of the things they said is we want our own space. The youth have a space. The children have a space. Where's our space? And we tell them, see this gym, this is your space. Don't leave it. But we actually also have a space down in the basement where they meet for Sunday school, and they continue to do that. And one of the things, one of the focuses Christy is really doing, one of the things that you may not know is we kind of dwindled in numbers for a little bit, and we're now back to an average of about 20 5th through 7th graders inside this building here, and that doesn't sound like a lot. And if you think that, come see me afterwards. I would love for you to volunteer on a Wednesday night just once. And let's see how much you love them, those 20. Clay's back there, he knows what it's about on the Wednesday nights too. So, but one of the things that we're really also focused on is Bible literacy with them. We are realizing that the Bible is kind of, it's kind of forgotten when you're in 5th through 7th grade. It's not real intriguing. So it's just kind of, it's threatening and it's a little bit scary. So one of the things Christy's done is we've made sure that we have placed Bibles in the room so that on Sunday mornings during Sunday school, every kid gets a Bible. And every kid opens the Bible and reads along with the text, whoever's reading. So we're really focusing on that literacy, which is great to segue into youth ministry, because one of the things that I was seeing, and that was our conversation, is that I get them in Bible study, and they, I'm still doing this thing. Hey, is it Old Testament or New Testament? Hey, we're in John this week. Where is it? Is it a gospel? What's the genre? What are all these things? So that we want them to fall in love with the story, not be so scared of the words. So we're putting it in place. 5th through 7th grade, we do that as 3rd grade Bibles. They get those, and we encourage them to bring those. And we also tell them, hey, if you don't have a Bible at home or you like this Bible, talk to your parents. It's yours. Take it home. We want you to have this, so use this. So beyond that, she also does a Brag on Jesus retreat where they go and they kind of find themselves in the story and what their story is and what's your faith story, because that's a big moment, 5th through 7th grade, about what that looks like. Where do I fit in all this? You keep talking about Jesus and you keep talking about God that does this, but where do I fit? So we start that early and kind of going through those stories and kind of placing them in it. And then she does a CAMP, so we kind of get them used to serving here. So we have quite a few mid-youth that serve on Thursday night for the food pantry. And then we actually take them away for an evening, kind of their first time. 5th grade, it's a little scary to go sleep on a church floor. Our 5th grader did that for CAMP, and we didn't sleep because we got a phone call every 30 minutes. Hey, I heard this sound, and I can't move to get up because if I do, the lights come on. And every 30 minutes, we got a phone call. So we kind of get them used to that as well, of going, hey, church doesn't just happen here. You are the church, and the church goes out and does church. So we kind of get them with that with CAMP. In the youth ministry, we'll continue to do our big things. So we meet 5 times a week for 8th through 12th grade. We meet Sunday school, we meet Sunday night. Then we meet Wednesday for hang time. And if you love 8th through 12th graders, come on in, because it's literally what it is. It's hang time, and they just kind of hang out. And then Thursday morning for breakfast club, and then also Wednesday night Bible studies, where we kind of get to introduce all that stuff to them again. 2 things I'll point out that we're focusing on. 1, evangelism is always in front of our young people. If you want to see the best evangelism possible, or the best youth ministry that has happened in this building, has nothing to do with anything we do in C1 Youth Ministries. Show up on a Thursday for food pantry, and see all the young people that are working, and then go watch all the people that are working in that food pantry show up on Thursday night football games, orchestra concerts. And those aren't volunteers that work within our ministry. But it's because you're teaching them how to be the church. So, food pantry folks, thank you, for real. Big ups. You do the best youth ministry in the building. So I shout that out all the time. And then one of the last thing that I'll share with you is I'm real big on leadership. Maybe it was because I was raised by a Marine high school principal football coach. Yeah, my junior year, he was my high school principal. But one of the things that I find is that the young people need to find a place. They have a place until they graduate, is what they always tell us. And they go, we don't know what to do after that. Maybe there's a college ministry, maybe there's a Wesley, but we don't really plug into a church. What do we do once we're done with all that? So we really develop leadership. So we've been planning out. So our Sunday nights are planned by youth, decided by them, and we're planned out through May already. And then they come in a room and we talk about what's going on in the business of the church. They don't necessarily like it, but it's for us to introduce them to, hey, you're the church now. Let's go ahead and prepare. And let's be in some rooms and let's have those conversations. So, and we have some amazing leaders. This year we have 4 that sit on the conference level of youth leadership, and we have 7 that sit on the district level of leadership. And it's because you continue to support and give so that we can bring those kids in and help them find their place. And some of them end up in ministry along the way, and some of them find themselves in the story and say, hey, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, or hey, I don't want to do this ever again or sit on a committee. And that's kind of part of that piece. So thank you for the continued support for the young people of this church. We brag everywhere we go, and people brag for us because our youth are a part of the church. And they're not just talked about as part of the church, they're actually accepted and invited into being the church. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Zach. Our director of college ministries, Amy Shores, who oversees our Wesley Foundation, is not here. She's away at Refuge this weekend, but we have Sheridan Austin, who is one of our Wesley interns, who will be speaking about our college-aged ministries here.
Hi, everyone. As Miranda said, I'm Sheridan. I'm one of the Wesley interns. I will say I did print this. Oh, okay. Amy gave me a speech. I did print it out and edited it a little bit, but I definitely left it on the kitchen table this morning when I left for church. So if you'll excuse me, it might be a little bit long, and some of it might not make a ton of sense. But so the upcoming season promises to be one of growth, energy, and new opportunities at the Wesley at Conway. In the coming year, we look forward to participating with other Wesley foundations across Arkansas in a transformative mission experience in New Orleans. We're doing that for spring break. And locally, our students will continue to stay active in service, creating Valentine's gifts, expanding our partnership with the food pantry, and hosting other birthday kit projects. Additionally, we will begin an exciting new community garden project at the Wesley House, and we've been pursuing grants in support of this new initiative. And then we will continue to be intentional about structuring Bible studies that meet students where they are. In the spring, we plan to offer a study focusing on mental health and the scripture to sustain engagement after midterms. And in the fall, we will host a 4-week split study for freshmen and upperclassmen before reuniting the group. We've learned that goes really well. The freshmen like having their own space. And then Thursday night dinners will remain a key part of our rhythm, and we expect a continued drawing strong engagement. Evangelism will stay central to our ministry with outreach events on Ash Wednesday and Good Friday and bringing the message of Christ to campuses in creative ways. Outreach will continue to be one of our strongest touch points. We participate in Fairfax Day, Finals Week events, and themed outreach such as Puppy Love, St. Patrick's Day, and Easter. In the fall, Welcome Week activities will help us connect with new students with events like the Succulent Party at Hendricks that we did in partnership with the Religious Life Office, which we expect to draw a big attendance again. We had over 100 people last time. It was impressive. And then we will stay visible through Fairfax Day, therapy dogs on both campus, RSO fairs, and then ongoing coffee hours every 3 weeks. as well as a bunch of other tabling events that we do on campus. And then fellowship opportunities will keep drawing students deeper into the community. We will host another mystery party. Ours is next Saturday, along with popular events with karaoke nights and PowerPoint nights. A freshman-only gathering and other social events will continue to help students feel connected and valued within the Wesley family. Our worship gatherings will remain a steady anchor throughout the year. Upgrades to our sound system and screams made possible through the generosity of the FUMC trustees. We'll continue to enhance our worship experience, and we expect attendance to keep climbing beyond our current average, about 35 students finding belonging and meaning in our worship community. Leadership development will remain the heart of our mission, and we have students for our annual Martin Luther King Jr. Day planning meeting, helping to develop a strong network of student leaders. And then our August leadership retreat will again bring students together from multiple campuses across Arkansas, and our staff will keep growing through shared study and reflection. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheridan. So remember, your dollars are at work as we support and empower leaders of the church in all of these ministry areas, from our C1 youth interns to our Wesley interns, our children's ministry interns, and all those who are learning how to be leaders for the church today. So as your pastor of discipleship, I get to oversee and be a part of all of these wonderful ministries, see people grow in grace in all of these ways, and I get to be the go-to person for our adults to plug in and lead as they have been taught to lead in throughout their life as they grow up in church. So if you are plugged into a Sunday school class, you know that I'm the person who can order your curriculum, talk about all of the ideas, or help you figure out what the next step is for your Sunday school class. Perhaps even hosting a parish party, which our Taylor Foundation fund is helping provide this season, so you can gather and invite people into your communities here at Conway First United Methodist Church. Another gift of my job as your pastor of discipleship is sharing God's love, right? That's what we are about. And we do that in so many ways. We do that in our adult programming with United Women in Faith and our caregiving ministries as we are growing and sharing and seeing God at work in the world. This coming year, we are excited to share God's love as our caregivers extend the number of services each month. So previously, we've been inviting anyone who is showing love to a caregiver to come and have a time of respite and activities for those who might need them. This is a way that we are engaging with our community and growing in God's love. We also are looking forward to loving our neighbors even more as we continue some of the good work that has happened. You know it, and you know all about it, but the summer lunch program will continue this coming year. Our C1 youth will go to Ozark Mission Project, will be in missions. You heard the Wesley will be having a mission trip as well. All of this is part of loving our neighbors and getting outside of our walls to engage our community. So we do this with hospitality and outreach, with our new community member invitations. People who are new residents in Conway are now receiving an invitation to join us in worship and learn a little bit about all the good things that are happening here. We also get visitor bags as you enter worship spaces, where we hope to welcome anyone who wants to be a part of our community and help plug them in. And that gift bag shows a little bit of our values, for feeding people with the lunch bag to the devotional book inside, where we invite to be at work with God in the world. So there are so many different initiatives that we invite you to be advocates for in our community, to invite people to worship, to invite people to be a part of the good things that are happening, and to invite people to love their neighbors, for we certainly need that in this world. This past year, we've loved our neighbors in a lot of ways. And there's still opportunities. So next week we'll have our Christmas coffee house, which is a missions committee fundraiser, which allows us to be community partners for nonprofits in our area. And we support those on a quarterly basis. Most recently, the missions committee voted to give a donation to the Arkansas Food Bank, which is now helping provide grant funding for food pantries, including ours, so that they might be able to help provide more food in this time of crisis for so many people. They also have overseen a number of endowments and issue money to Conway Cradle Care in their time of need. That's what our missions committee is doing, and we are looking forward to entering in 2026 to invite more people into being a part of missions, like we see with One Service Sunday and throughout the year with the food pantry. Church and society is another kind of avenue that we show our love for our neighbors. And in 2025, there's been a lot of ways that we have learned about the needs of the world and what's happening in the world and are empowered to live that out as in our life of faith. So this past Labor Day weekend, we had a special Sunday with Church and Society and learned all of the different things that the United Methodist Church has said, hey, learn about these things so you can be the people of faith in your community. And we're excited. We've done that, and we will continue having the Fifth Sunday presentations. So far this year, we've learned about immigration. We've learned and heard stories of people, members of our community from the LGBTQ community, who have shared their stories of church experiences. And we have invited school board representatives to come have back to school breakfast with us so that we can learn how to be active in our schools and a part of public education. We will continue our Fifth Sunday presentations on November 30th with a conversation and panel from mental health professionals in our congregation who will be sharing how to navigate family dynamics around the holidays. I know we can all use a little help in that regard. So these will continue to happen in 2026. And if you have ideas, there's a long list of issues that we can be discussing and growing that we might know how to love our neighbor more. And Church and Society helps us know what those are and know what we can do as people of faith. And of course, year-round, we love our neighbors each week with our food pantry. People have lined up, and if you were here on Thursday, you saw the line that went all the way through our parking lot and down the street to the junior high, as a lot of new people are coming and seeking food in their time of need. Your dollars help make that happen. Dollars given directly to the food pantry, your $1 bills when we need them from the mission committee helps us and use those so that they are at work in the world. We are able to purchase food from Tin Box and for the Arkansas Food Bank at a very discounted rate and in bulk. And so your dollar is stretched even further when you donate to something like the Conway FUMC Food Pantry. Anyone know about how much it costs per year? It's probably in your packet. Yeah, $36,000. And so that helps provide the non-perishable items that we have in our food pantry. So where do all those perishable items that we have to sort and distribute? Those are all donations. We have community partners with the Greenbrier Walmart, and this past week we've expanded those to working with US Pizza and the Purple Cow to incorporate and provide even more donations. That's part of our vision as we go forward. The Conway First United Methodist Church has been working with food insecurity in Arkansas for over 100 years. If you've read that history book, you know it. And we've done that in a lot of different ways. We continue to do that. And I look forward to expanding our community partnerships. You know, maybe we get in a walk-in refrigerator for the food pantry so we actually can store the food that is needed in our community, because right now that's one of our barriers. So it's your tithes, your special gifts, your endowments, that help us love our neighbors. And we spend $486,202.41 on this each year. Now, learn more about all of those different forms of income with Pastor Nathan.
One of the things I hope that you've heard is like, we're not a dead church. We are very active, very alive, very much involved in our community. We're all about raising up disciples. That I hope that you feel good about when you put money in the offering plate, that we don't waste it. That we put it to good use, that we seek to be good stewards of those resources, and those dollars make a difference in the lives of people who love God, serve God, who experience the love of God, and we hope you see that. You'll see, we called this the total missional spending plan. We didn't call it a budget. And actually, you may not know this, but if you were to get our budget, if you're on finance, you would see our budget is something like $1.2 million. That's what we plan. But we also have all these activities on the side that we fundraise for that are not necessarily included in the budget. For instance, you've been part of the C1 Impact Fund. You've been hearing about it from Zach and others. That's not written in our budget. That's over and above what we typically do. And so one of the things we've been talking about as a finance committee and even as staff is that when we present our dollars, we actually don't present a full picture. We actually typically spend almost $1.5 million a year on ministry. $145,000 of that we raise on the side for things like the food pantry, C1 Impact Fund, or our core scholars, or even initiatives with the GNC Praise Band and helping get equipment. We don't even put that in the budget. That's above and beyond giving by our church, and we want people to know that, and we want to say thank you. And so that's why it says $1.49 million, because we typically have $145,000 more of giving that goes into ministries of the church. And that's what we could capture. I mean, there are other things like, well, what about this? Okay. The other thing we wanted to show you is that all the varied pockets that we have as a congregation that support the ministry of the church. So you heard about, for instance, the Taylor Fund. The Taylor Fund was a gift from the Taylor family. They're a member of the community. They gave an endowment. We receive on an annual basis $45,000 from that endowment that is to go for children, youth, and evangelism. And so in that anticipated funding, that's part of that, $45,000 a gift from a family. We have other endowments, like our permanent endowment. We hope to grow as part of our capital campaign. We receive around $12,000 a year for that goes to capital needs. If we grow that as far as our capital campaign to $1 million, like we hope, we could receive upwards to $40,000 to $50,000 a year. The hope would be that it offsets cost for our building so that we can do more in ministry. Maybe our food pantry could get a walk-in freezer or refrigerator so that we have storage, or maybe we could fund the Youth Impact Fund more, because those dollars that would be diverted to taking care of the building are now being diverted back to ministry. You'll see a lot of those funds, and some of these you can donate to. If you want to give above and beyond gifts for your tithes, things like the Teague Mission Fund, the Bruner Youth Fund, those things you can actually give to. And if you give to those, they're invested dollars, and that gift will live on in perpetuity. The permanent endowment, same thing. Like if you give $100, it'll grow over the course of infinity, assuming we still have a market one day. That those dollars, I don't know. That's the hope. Some of these are personal gifts from families. The Workman Fund, the Workmans were retired clergy, and they were part of our congregation here. They left a gift to this congregation that goes to Church and Society, and it helps to ensure that the work of Church and Society continues on and on and on. And so I want you to see all the varied pockets. I mean, some of these are unbelievable gifts that the church has received from people that help continue to fund ministry, so that When you give dollars in the plate, it allows to dream and vision so that other ministries are supported. You know, one of my visions, for instance, or hopes with like the Bruner Youth Fund, that we wouldn't have to do anymore the C1 Impact Fund, that it would be so endowed that they would receive $60,000 a year every year. Or we have a children's fund. That's one of the things you don't see on here. There's no children's fund, no endowed fund for a kid in our church, that they don't get any extra funding. They rely totally on the gifts of offerings that we give on a Sunday morning. But we wanted you to see that. You can see, too, that we project as far as our income goes based on what our normal tithes are, what our normal returns are from our investments, that we project that we'll receive around $1.45 million, which is like, holy cow, that's a lot of money. But you can also see we have dreams bigger than our income. And we hope that we give a vision for the church that the church wants to get behind. And that if we are able to, each of us, to step and give a little bit more, that all these can be funded, and we'll get to celebrate next year all the things that we have done. Again, today was a hope to just give you a picture of what it is. We didn't talk about all the ministries, every single thing, but we want to make this a regular thing every year so that you kind of get an idea of where the plans are coming. Our church council is actually working pretty hard right now in developing a mission and vision statement so that the whole congregation has a sense of who we are and where we're headed, and about developing that leadership also. Last but not least, it's 10 till. I would say we have some Q&A, but we got to go to worship. I would encourage you, if you have questions, Miranda and I certainly would be glad to answer any of those questions. If you are interested in any of those ministries, I know any of our staff would be willing. Not only do we need to continue to be generous, but we also need people. Every single one of our ministries sometimes struggle with having enough people there. When we have 20 mid-youth, Zach's not kidding. We need just people. I'll tell you from when I was in youth, the people I remember the most were not my leaders, not the hired leaders. They were the people that volunteered, and their investment in me and investment in the rest of like our youth program, I remember what they did, and they did it out of the goodness of their heart. And so we always need folks in any of our areas. So thank you all for your time today, and I hope you learned a little bit about more about our ministries. I know many of you are involved in all these across the board, but thank you for your time. All right. And we can have a parade to the sanctuary if you're going to 11 o'clock worship.